Sad, sad day. The worst case has happened. I'm going to have to abandon the Bokashi worm farm bucket. Hey folks, so let me tell you a little bit. I want to keep you updated on the Bokashi buckets, the two Bokashi bucket worm bins. I had to abandon it. Let me tell you why, and let me tell you what happened. Essentially, I couldn't find maybe 5 worms in the whole process. So if there was 1,000 worms, which I don't think there was, just like, you know, there's 10,000 cocoons supposedly, but does someone actually count that? It didn't look like 1,000 worms, but maybe the red wiggler are kind of small. They're very tiny. So I think maybe 5 left over. So as you guys know, week 1, everything looked all right. You can't see through these things, right? Remember, Bokashi, after 2 weeks of fermenting, then basically cardboard. And week 2, I looked at one of the bins, and week 3 was the determining point where I just evacuated. Let me tell you what happened. Essentially, the composting fermenting system continued to do its thing. And because it's on the bottom half and the worms are up here, everything that is, you know, being generated upwards, wicketed up, is pretty potent. In other words, what I think's happened is they got drunk. And it's pretty sad. I don't want to lose anything, but I mean, this was an experiment, and the lazy way to do it is not the way to do it. They pretty much got drunk and they died. Now, when I was emptying these buckets out, I couldn't find any worms, so they became part of the Bokashi system. Like literally, I couldn't find anything but like 4 or 5 worms. However, I'm not quitting. The cocoons that I've got have a lot of them have hatched. I got little tiny worms happening, and this system has been abandoned. But what I did learn was a soil factory, which is usually done with soil, Bokashi with soil. You mix that, and then you let that sit, and it continues the process. So that's what I did. That's what I'm doing, but without soil. So now I've got the Bokashi soil factory without soil. So you could call it a cardboard factory. And what I did was dump out both units, and then I meshed them in with more cardboard, and I allowed them to ferment, or to continue to compost, I should say. And so I'm going to keep sharing that part of it. So essentially, the process has been lengthened a little bit. So again, the Bokashi food wastes, there's no point in doing half a bucket. You can go all the way if you want now. I've got a couple buckets working right now. Once that's done, you let it sit for 2 weeks fermenting, and then after 2 weeks, then you want to dump it in the cardboard soil factory or cardboard factory. You want to blend it in. There's no more not hands-on approach, okay guys? I tried to do this so people could, you know, do it without hands-on approach, but it's not working, okay? So this, I kind of figured that it would be pretty difficult to do for the worms, and it's just not successful. So because the worms are on the top of this, everything that was coming upwards, they would be part of it. A better way would be to divide it so that you got the Bokashi on one side and the worms on the other, but that's not what I'm doing, okay? Basically, Bokashi done, I then dump it into the soil factory, mix it in with cardboard. I'm going to keep you guys posted. I did get some smelling after a little, probably a few days. And all that was needed was, again, continue mixing. Just spray with the lactic acid bacteria. It's done really well. As a matter of fact, I've just fed some of it to the worms, and now I'm testing it as it is to the little baby worms. I did a test here previously on one of the containers. I've been testing it slowly, but essentially, if this works, which I think it is going to work, then what you have is cardboard and food waste. There's no difference. It's cardboard and food waste, and so I'm hoping that this becomes a bedding as well. But you got to have that process of time, okay? You got to have a process of time. And this Friday, I'm going to check it out because it kind of composted very quickly once it was put into that system. It's going to be what I'm hoping is their bedding. So when I put together these bins, I'm just going to use that stuff and have them come into it. So yeah, unfortunately, I lost some worms. The baby worms have come out of the cocoons. Not all of them. And I've got heat pads, and I've done some different stuff here. I've gotten rid of the closet, like the closet I had. And I built one here on this side, so we have a clean open room here. As well, I did some stuff over there, just a shelf over there with a light. And you can see that this light is just a hanging light here. And I want to do another little tiny wall here to put the camera so it's focusing downwards on the actual worms. Okay? I will succeed, but it is unfortunate that so many of them had to die before, before I could grasp what was going on. I kind of let them work hard, but I think we have to do some work. And anyway, through that process, the soil factory or cardboard factory has come into play, and it's actually looking really, really good. So, one downfall has created another kind of interesting feature. Okay, so if you guys haven't subscribed, subscribe. I'm going to continue on with this little journey, and we're going to get this figured out. It's going to start with a bucket, but then it's going to progress into the worm bins, and that's the key. And as much hands off as possible. No smell here. It's nice smell. A little bit of an earthly smell. Those buckets over there are not doing, the bins that I got over there are not doing anything more. It's all good. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.